Hello everyone, I am Dr. Anil Shetty, Professor and Consultant at Jain College of Engineering, Belgavi. So in today's session, that is session 12 on manufacturing control and automation, we will be dealing with automation parts. So in the last class, we have saw automation in production system. What are the elements of automated system? What are the advanced automated functions, levels of automation, and introduction to automation productivity. So in today's class we will be seeing control technologies in automation. So it will be first related to industrial control, then process and discrete manufacturing industry. It is again related to continuous and discrete control systems and other forms of controls. So let's start the class. So what do you mean by industrial control system? So industrial control system is defined here as an automatic regulation of unit operations and their associated equipment, as well as integration and coordination of unit operation in large production system. So generally there are two types of manufacturing industry. One is process industry, another is discrete manufacturing industry. So actually what is the process industry? Process industry performs their production operation on the amount of materials, because the materials tends to be a liquid, gases, powder or similar material. In discrete manufacturing, industry perform their operation on the quantities of material, because the material tends to discrete part of and product. Now this can be easily understood by example. So what is the process industry examples? There are chemical reactions, chemical vapor deposition, distillation, all this dairy industry, sugar industry, all this comes under process industry. What is discrete manufacturing? Casting, forging, extrusion, machining process, plastic molding, sheet metal, stamping. Similarly, this is explained with respect to the application part. So you can see automobile is in discrete manufacturing industry, while food beverages are in process. Similarly, pharmaceutical companies, special chemical, cosmetics, all are coming under process industry, while electrical equipment, our clothes, medical devices, electronic equipments comes under discrete manufacturing industry. So the level of automations will be different in both the industry. So you can see there are 5 levels of automations: 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. Okay, so this is a process, this is related to discrete manufacturing. So level 1 is it will be related at a device level. Okay, level 2 of automation is regulatory control level. Here at level 3 it is a supervisory control level. Level 4 it will be at plant level. Level 5 it is at enterprise level, or complete at very high level. So you can see as we go up and up in the automation level, the amount of complexity goes on increasing. Similarly, in case of here device and machine level, so I can say device means maybe you are having only one component of the machine. This will be at machine level. This will be a combination of 2-3 machines, or at this will be completely plant level. This will be completely at global level. Okay. So as we see at the device level, there are differences in the type of actuators and sensors used in two industry categories. Okay, simply because the process and equipments are different. In the process industry, the devices are used mostly for the control loop in chemical, thermal or similar process operation. Whereas in discrete manufacturing, device is used to control the mechanical action of the machine. But at level 2, the difference is that unit operation control, like in process industry, and machine control in case of a discrete industries. At level 3, the control of interconnected unit process operation and interconnected machine. At the upper level, that is plant and enterprise, the control are similar, allowing for the fact and the product and process are different. Now next most important are what are the variables and the parameters in this two industry. So first is continuous variable or a parameter. Continuous variable and a parameter is one that is uninterrupted as time proceeds, at least during the manufacturing operation. A continuous variable is generally considered to be an analog, which means it can take any value within a certain range. The variable not restricted to discrete set of values. For production operation in both process and discrete parts, manufacturing are characterized by continuous variable. Example include force, temperature, flow, pressure, velocity. All these variables are continuous over the time during the process. They can take on any infinite number of possible values within a certain practical range. For example, if I'm let's say I'm doing a temperature operation, okay, maybe in foundry operation, so temperature can be to the melting point to the room temperature, okay, flow rate may be at the high to the low, right? Next is the discrete variable. Now discrete variable is one that can take on only certain values within the given range. So the most common type of discrete variable is a binary, means it can take either two possible values, either yes or no, on or off, open or closed, and so on. Examples of discrete variables parameters include switch open, close, motor on, off, work part present, not present in a fixture. So in the discrete, you suppose you are working on a machine, coolant on, coolant off. So that can be considered as a discrete variable. Okay. So this is explained by this graph. So you can see a variable, a parameter with respect to time. A continuous variable can have any values within the range, but a variable either will have one value or directly zero, either 0 or 1. So you can see a pulse data, it is going up, that is having one value after 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay. Now this slide will give the comparison between continuous control and discrete control. Now let's start one by one. So a type of measurement of product output in case of a process industry, either it may be a weight, liquid, solid, volume. In here number of parts, number of products. So here a simple example, how much liter of milk is produced. So it comes in the process industry. Here how many number of cars are produced. Typical quality measures, okay, so here dimension, surface roughness, everything. Here what is the consistency, okay, what is the fat level in the milk. Okay. Typical variable parameters are temperature, flow and pressure. Here position, velocity, force are there. Typical sensors are, as we are measuring temperature, flow rate, all we are using thermocouple, pressure sensor and flow meters. Here are all limit switches and piezoelectrical sensors, strain gauges. Type of actuator, mainly as it is a process, continuous thing is there. Maximum you are using valves, heaters and pumps. Here switches, motors, pistons. Okay. Typical process time is seconds or minutes or hours. It is less than a second. Okay. Next is continuous control system. So there are two, either we know we can have open loop control system or a closed loop. What is the difference between open and closed loop system is, in open loop, if I give an input, whether output, whatever I am expecting, whether it came or not, I don't have any idea. I'll just give the input and see the output. Okay. But here in closed loop, I will get a feedback of what is the output, and then I can again in the future correct the input value. So in a continuous process, the usual objective is to maintain the value of an output variable at a desired level, similar to the operation of a feedback control system. However, most continuous process in practical world consist of many separate feedback loops, all of which have control or coordinate to maintain the output variable. So there are several ways to achieve this continuous process control. There are 6 ways. First is regulatory control. I can use feed forward control. I can use steady state optimization. I can use adaptive control. I can use online search strategies and also other specialized techniques. So let's see one by one. So the figure shows a regulatory control. Okay. So in a regulatory control, the objective is to maintain a process performance at a certain level or within the given tolerance band of that level. This is appropriate. For example, when the performance attribute is some measure of a product quality, it is important to keep the quality at a specified level or within the specified range. So you can see when I am giving some input, there is an output is coming. So I am giving a feedback loop to the performance, and if any changes has to be done, it is done at controller level. Next is the feed forward control. So the strategy of feed forward is to anticipate the effect of disturbance that will upset the process by sensing them and compensate for them before they affect in actual process. Okay, so here what is happening, I am getting the input output, I am measuring it, getting the performance index, so and then I am controlling it. Now depends upon the performance index what I can got, I can give a feedback control element so that the process will not get disturbed. Okay, next is the steady state optimization. So in the steady state optimization, the only change is instead of at process level we are having at a controller level only we will do the optimization. So this can be done at the index of performance or mathematical model or using an algorithm value. Okay, when this characterized apply, the control algorithm is to design to make adjustment in the process parameter to drive the process towards the optimal state at a controller level. Next is the adaptive control. Adaptive control combines the feedback and optimum control by measuring the relevant process variable during the operation and using control algorithm that attempt to optimize some index of performance. So you can see here input is going, process performed, output comes, and when we are measuring this one, what happens is in this part this is called as adaptive control. So depends upon what is the feedback came or whatever the performance I have measured, so I can take a decision to modify whatever the input parameters and then give the feedback. So this is completely a feedback feedback adaptive control systems. The next one is online research strategies. So online research strategies can be used to address a specific class of adaptive control problem in which the decision function cannot be sufficiently defined. This is the relationship between the input and the output index performance is not known. Therefore, we cannot enough to use adaptive control as previously described. It is not possible to decide the changes in the internal parameter of the system to produce the desired performance improvement. Instead, experiment must be performed on the process. Small systematic changes are made in the input parameter of the process to observe the effect of these changes in the output. Based on this result of experiment, large changes are made in the input parameter to derive towards the improved performance. So online research strategies will work when we are doing a first time system. So I may be, let's say, producing one product at first time. So I don't know if I'm changing one X input parameter, what happens at the output. So I will go on doing first time input, changing X and Y variables of the input parameter and see what happens to output. So in the future, whenever I'm designing the complete component, this already experimental data can be used. Additionally, there are new technologies now for doing this one. So these are other specified technique include strategies that are currently evolving in the control theory and computer science. For example, expert system, neural network, artificial intelligence methods for processing the control. Now till now we saw different types of control. Now the next one, all till now we saw is a continuous control system. Okay, now let's start with the discrete control system. So what are the discrete control system? Either it will have yes or no. So only two, either on or off or start or stop, something like that. Okay. So in the discrete control, the parameters and variables of the systems are changed at a discrete moment in time. And the changes involve variables and parameters that are also discrete, typically binary. That means either on or off, start or stop. Okay. Next is these changes are executed either because of the state of the system has changed or because a certain amount of time has elapsed. This type can be distinguished into two parts. Either it is event driven changes or time driven changes. For example, if you tell a machine to stop, suppose you are making a pencil machine. Okay, so machine is producing pencil. So if I can give a variable that is after you produce 1000 pencils, stop. So that will becomes event driven changes. Okay, and another thing I can say, you produce how much for next 8 hours, that is time driven changes. So after 8 hours, whatever may the amount of pencils are produced, it will stop. Here the time it produces 1000 pencil, it will stop. Next is when an event driven is executed by controlling in response to some event that has caused the state of system to be altered. So example is a robot loads a work part into a fixture and the part is sensed by a limit switch. So we saw many times robots is doing loading and unloading. So what happens when the machine gives a signal to the robot that this component is machine, okay, what it will come and unload that part and load the next part. Once it load the next part, it will again give a sensor signal to the machine to start the operation. Similarly, counting parts or diminishing plastic molding components, etc. Next is the time driven changes. So time driven changes is executed by control system either at a specific point in time or after a certain time is elapsed. Okay, as before, the changes usually consist of starting something or stopping something. Examples in factory with a specific starting time or ending time for the shift. Heat treatment operation where I say okay, I want to do a heat operation on a mild steel and I say okay, heat it to 600 degrees centigrade for 15 let's say 1 hour, then do hold it for 10 minutes, okay, and then cool it to 500. So everything that controlling of that can be done using control system. Now in control system there are two types of discrete controls. Either it may be logical control or sequence control. Logical control is used to control the execution of event driven changes, and if it is a time driven, we are using sequence controls. So we'll stop here. So today we saw different types of control, continuous and discrete type of controls in more detail. So if you have any questions, you can contact me on above email ID, or you can also text me on the mobile number. I request everyone to subscribe for the channel. Thank you.